Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is a review of this lens. Well, you're gonna have to use your imagination, but this is a review of the Canon 28-70 f2 RF lens. Now, we had that lens for a couple of weeks, but we had to send it back to Canon because we were using a pre-production model, but the pre-production lens was so damn good that I can't see that the production models will be worse than what we already used. Now, of course, you don't see it here, but we have beautiful, pristine B-roll of the lens. Now, the dirt that you're seeing on it, or that spot, yeah, that's mud. That's mud from the time that I shot at the Renaissance Fair and got mud all over myself and partly on the lens. Now, let's take a look at the outside. This is a massive lens. It's a 28-70 f2. We haven't seen zoom lenses like this ever for full frame. Now, this is an RF lens, so it's only designed currently for the EOS R and the future mirrorless cameras that Canon comes out. You won't be able to take it backwards and put it on your EF mount cameras, which, well, why would you do that anyway? This lens is massive, which means it's also heavy. It weighs in at 3.15 pounds. And for those in the metric systems, that's 1,430 grams, which would get you probably life in prison if it was cocaine or something else like heroin or something. I wouldn't know. I don't do drugs, and I don't plan on doing them. Now, since I talked about that right there, we might as well do a sniff test right now. It smells like glass because it's not here. We had to send it back. You will also notice that there is now a control ring on this lens. It seems like Canon is going to put those control rings on most of the RF professional lenses that they will be making. Now, do you see the front element of this bad boy? Yeah, if you see that and you shoot video or you want to get filters, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money because the filter thread is 95 millimeters. Now, in terms of price, it's $2,999. That is super expensive, especially when you compare it to something brand new like the 24-70 2.8 version 2, that's $1,699. Now, neither of these lenses are IS. The 28-70 doesn't have IS, and this lens doesn't have IS, and the EOS R doesn't have in-body stabilization. So yes, $3,000 is a lot of money for a piece of glass, but what I will say is if you're bitching about the price, you probably can't afford it, and you're not a professional photographer. Now, I don't mean that in a sense like you're not a professional photographer because you can't afford this, but professional photographers that can afford this and will use it to the full extent will make money off of their photography, thus why they buy the gear that they buy, because they can afford it and they make money off of using it. Now, I'm really used to shooting with 24-70, so having 28 and losing 4 millimeters, is it a big deal? Personally, I would have rather have had a 24 to say 65 millimeter lens than a 28-70 because I rather go wider. Is it a deal breaker? No, but you just have to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes you may need to take a step back or you may not be able to get wide enough at 28, but you do have an f2. So if you want to shoot portraits with it, zoom out to 70 millimeters, go to f2, focus in on the eye like I did when we were in Hawaii, and got super tack sharp images that were super sharp as well as super colorful. I really love having this f2, even though it's super heavy. So if you're smaller and you can't carry something heavy around, it may not be for you, but I could see using this in the pit when I'm shooting concerts. It's going to be great for low light situations where I want to shoot at f2 or 2.2 or 2.5 to give yourself a little more leeway. The autofocus on this lens was tremendous. There's really not much about this lens that I don't like. And as a professional photographer, pairing this with the 11-24 f4 and then the 28-70 f2 and a 70-200 2.8, that is your trinity of lenses. Though you are missing 4 millimeters, which I wish I could borrow from somewhere else because a little bit more length or girth would totally help most of us out, because every little bit counts, as I've heard a few times before in my past. The question some of you may be asking is, do you buy a 24-70 2.8 and use that with an adapter on the mirrorless cameras, or go with the 28 to 70 f2 RF. I personally would get rid of the 24 to 70 at this point if I didn't have any EF mount cameras left. If you already have this, then start with this. It's lighter, it's going to be much easier to carry around. It's also not going to fill your bag up so fast because the other one is massive. So if you're okay with a massive, large, fast, expensive lens, then pick up the 28 to 70 f2 because it's going to be a great lens today and well into the future. So don't forget, you can download sample RAW files that we captured with the EOS R as well as this 28 to 70 f2. And if you'd like to pick up this lens or any other lens, please support Adorama. Go to adorama.com/fro. By supporting them, you're helping us continue to make all of the free content that we make. So which would you go with? 24 to 70 2.8 because it's cheaper, or a 28 to 70 f2? Leave some comments down below. Don't forget to like, share. You're already commenting, and that's where I'll leave it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.